Hello everyone. Welcome back to the stream. Today, we're at Okayama for the third round of the Formula 4 series with oNiD on the original Assetto Corsa. And this time, we have a slightly different format from what we've had on the first 2 weeks. We have a series of sprint races. We're used to having one to start the evening off, or for the first race of the evening, and then having a feature race that's about twice as long. Today that's not the case. We have 3 20-minute sprint races. Similar qualifying, 8 minutes for the first to set the grid for the first race, 3 minutes, a one-shot qualifying to set the grid for the second race. But the third race, well, it'll take the results from race 2, the finishing order, flip it on its head, completely reverse the order, and that will then be the grid for race 3, leaving a very interesting final race of the evening. Only 20 minutes to get through the field. We're expecting 21 drivers this evening. So we are. Welcome along. Qualifying is just about to get started in a minute or two. We had a good run at Most last week for the second round. 2 podiums, which was a good result. Certainly not podium pace, but podium consistency last week. That's what ended up being important, was consistency. A couple of drivers in front of us made mistakes. That allowed us to get onto the podium. We'll have to see how it goes. Okayama, it's a bit tight, a bit technical. Shortest lap of the season so far. Only by a few seconds over Most. The tracks have the lap times have gradually been getting shorter and shorter. And it's even quicker again next week when we head to Sachsen Ring for the 4th round. We'll be halfway through this series after this evening. But yeah, just about 50 seconds here before we get going for qualifying. 8 minutes. Be an interesting one. Interesting to see where the pace is. Yeah, Okayama more akin to the middle sector at Interlagos. Isn't really. You can't really compare it to Most. It's very different to Most. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. And we will get going any minute now for the rush out of the pits on the opening lap. Seems like people were kind of sleeping at the wheel. So we head onto the circuit. I've got a feel for 2 flying laps here. Then we're going to return to the pits and try and get another couple in. Rear end sliding around on this out lap. Struggling a little bit for balance in laps I was doing before qualifying here. Car just felt a little bit more unstable than it has been in the first 2 rounds. I've not changed too much on the setup. So here we go then for his first flying lap here at Okayama. Tires still coming up to temperature and pressure. Heading towards T1, just braking for the 50 board. Down to third gear, it's this long right-hander. Opens up a little bit on the exit. You want to bring the car immediately over to the right-hand side. Open up this left-hander. Turn to gun throttle as early as you can. Carry the momentum all the way to the following hairpin. Careful, though, not to clip the grass on exit. And now to this quite open hairpin again, braking just before the 50-meter board. Carry the speed through gallon power early as you come on to the longest straight of the track, and also the biggest braking zone coming up. Much tighter hairpin here, kind of a little bit cambered though. This means you can brake very late again, sort of looking towards that 50 board. It's not that cambered, it kind of comes up to you on the exit, then a little bit of a crest, which does hurt for traction immediately into this sort of left-hander over crest, and this is where it gets really technical. It's corner after corner through the double left. Now just 4 corners to go. We've got back-to-back hairpins here, not super tight, but not that open either. Second one, it does have a nice big camber to it, but can hurt the traction on the exits. The track is just ever so slightly crests. Flat out through the penultimate corner. Then final corner. Moderately long right-hander. You want to carry as much speed as you can onto the start-finish straight, as the timing line quite way down the straight. As we then head into T1 for another attempt. Not a great opening lap. Hopefully we can find some pace here on the second lap. A second off the top time set by Johan. 1:30.5. Yeah, quite a few drivers going quicker. Snap of oversteer there. Over half a second up. Oh, big snap from the rear end. I'm just going to abandon this lap. Let me just check fuel. I do have enough fuel. Get ourselves heading out, as we'll have free air here. Yeah, struggling a little bit for track grip. We were about 6/10 up, so we were. Which would put us towards second place, but as people complete second flying laps, they might improve themselves. Track grip itself is improving. Oh, just getting caught on the curb a little bit there. We are going to have time for 2 flying laps here. Let's see how much time we can find on this first lap, as the tires still come in. nearly as good as we were on our previous lap. Rears definitely seem to be locking into that first of this sort of switchback hairpin sequence. Just about got to the apex there. Nearly 7 tenths up. This will fire us up to P3. And we'll get one more flying lap to try and improve here. Try and find a little bit more time. Try and put ourselves onto the front row. A little bit of understeer through that left-hander. Just try and carry as much speed as I can. Checker flags out, so everyone's on their final flying laps. Oh, that's a bad hairpin. Too early on the brakes, too early of an apex, being bumped to P4. Only one corner to go effectively. Fire it through. Do find a little bit of time, but it's not enough to improve after that mistake at the hairpin. And so it will only be P4, half a tenth away from the front row. That's a close qualifying session. Very interesting one. Should lead to hopefully an enjoyable race as we put the fuel in the car. Second row of the grid. We'll take that. We'll see what happens in this first race. See how our race pace compares to those around us. So just a small break. Thank you for the good luck. Inside for T1. Maybe a good place to be. Of course, it becomes the outside for T2, but being a bit of a faster corner, maybe the outside might actually still be a decent spot, a decent line for these corners, for these opening corners. Just gotta be careful of the cold tires. We sort of struggled a bit with them in qualifying. So yeah, the opening lap especially, just don't be too silly. Thank you, Eddie. As we have 30 seconds to start here. It's about to come on then for our first race. Here they come. Not the greatest of reactions. Car on the outside there, quite cautious. look at them sliding around through turn 2. We also had a little slide ourselves from the rear end in the slipstream. Could have tried to move, but I didn't want to risk it on the cool tires. Slightly overrunning into the hairpin has allowed Michael to get to our inside. Just by seeing the rear wing poking in the bottom right hand corner. Michael's going to be safe on the brakes, and we'll hold on to P4 here. A couple of cars have dropped off the back of the grid. Just hear the revs rise as the wheels spin a bit on the crest. Opened out the gap behind, 1.4 seconds. Michael's not had a great end to the lap. Coming under pressure now from Otto Harkonnen. That seems like we might just be able to... Might just be one of these races where things spread out. Should be a bit of a shame. But it happens. But I wouldn't be too surprised if Alex in front of us, who has been a quick driver all season, bit of a slide on the inside curb, has taken fastest lap multiple times within races, just struggling for consistency. Struggling the most for consistency out of the top group. So might have the pace to close in on Zach Finney in second. If those two start fighting, we might be able to close up to the two of them. Maybe get involved in that fight. Oh, the rear locking there. That's just about 54.5 for... oh, no, that's the rear locking. I don't want to go too much forward. There's some braking zones like this one that's front limited. But there's a couple that are... rear limited. Fortunately, that mistake dropping us back from the two cars in front. And the rear end stepping out there through the hairpin. Certainly not been a great lap. Those struggles that I was talking about before the race, or before qualifying even, or maybe during qualifying. Kind of coming to fruition a bit. That rear left tyre running a little overpressured. Can't do anything about that. The pressure on it is as low as it will go. That'll be part of the reason why the rear end slides around a bit at times. Having a good lap here. Apart from that right-hander. Per final sector. Good lap up until then. Zach and Alex in front are practically trading lap times. Half a second between the two of them. I mean, less than 100th in their lap times last lap around. We're just sliding on entry as is about to turn in. Oh, and there goes the rear. That's a really horrible place to spin. If I drove forward there, you just know the first car to come up would have been straight into the back of me. Yeah, just struggling with the rear left. At least it gives us an interesting race from here to the end. Big snap for Charlie Morgan in front of us. Let's get to the inside. Have to get this move done under braking. A little bit of front locking, but move done. Next is Chris Overstreet, up in P6. Chris, not usually at this end of the grid. Someone that can struggle, have his struggles, but so it's good to see him up here towards the top. He'd certainly be the AM leader in the race. Much better final corner. On lap 7 of a suspected 14 laps, but might only be 13. It really depends on the pace of the race. See that front right just locking. Not completely locked that time, but partially locking. Not rotating at this speed it should be in the braking zone. Now we're on to the back of Chris, trying to get a good exit from the final corner, but he's also got a good exit in fairness. He's pulling over to defend. That might create the opportunity here. Oh, he was reasonably well through T1. We just got the front wing alongside. Give Chris no choice but to leave us the space through that little S-bend. He might be kicking himself for leaving that door open, not shutting it sooner. Now we go chasing down after Otso Harkonnen. I don't think we'll catch Michael this race for P4. Gap 3.8 seconds. We were only 0.2 quicker last lap around. A little bit wide there. Yeah, our fastest lap times are very similar. Nine and a half seconds behind Michael. Definitely too big of a gap. Only gained a 10th on them last lap around. I think we're banking on mistakes here from anyone in front to pick up any more positions. Michael set new personal best. Oh, me and Harkonnen in front saying identical times to the 1,000th. Yeah, it definitely seems like our race pace not quite as good as our quali pace compared to others. Charlie Morgan trying to get past Chris Overstreet behind us for 7th place. Can see them side by side in the mirrors. Five minutes left in the race. There'll be 3 or 4 laps to go at the line. think it'll be 4 laps. We've had better lap this time round. It's going to be a personal best, just about. Hartman has had a bit of a slow lap. We gained 6 tenths. We need another 5 laps at that rate to actually catch up to the back of him. There's only 4 remaining. Chris holding on. Or they're side by side again. I was about to say he is holding on. It looks like he just about is holding on for the moment. But the two of them nearly side by side once again. They're having a good battle. Finding a bit more pace, but so is Harkonnen. 4,000s. Unfortunately slower for us. Not that makes much of a difference when the margins are that close. Not unless it was for the fastest lap bonus point. But we're good 6 tenths off of that point. Slightly overdone it into the hairpin. The rear end just got settled in the braking zone there. So as I went to turn in, it just started to slide. And if you don't make that correction, even though it doesn't seem like a big slide, if it continues to slide, we get the spin that we had, or it's half spin even, that we had at the final corner just before halfway. Another little moment there. Barcole having an issue at the final corner. 2 laps to go. Lost a 10th last lap. See all the tire marks in that traction zone out of the second hairpin. Time runs out, but the leader's already on to a final lap. just a little bit more understeer than what I felt like I had on the previous lap. Closing on Hartnett quite a bit this lap. But as it's the final lap, doesn't really matter. Third final corner. It's going to be P6. After that spin partway through. Yeah, a bit disappointed with that spin. One of those, we didn't go for a full spin. It wasn't that bad of a spin, but it was such an awful position to be in. Yeah, 2/10 separated Zach Finney and Alex Romsix at the end. So Alex did close up, but wasn't able to make anything happen for the position. So yeah, a little bit of a disappointing first race. Charlie did get Chris, and Chris actually fell behind, I think it was Alex Wood that got P8. So Chris not having a great end to the race, losing a couple of places. But yes, still 2 more races to go. A one-shot qualifying session to set the grid for race 2. And yeah, you know, that has potential to shift things up, especially with sort of the shorter lap. It's harder to get tire temperature in here, so, you know, so it's going to be about who can really get the most out of the car, even when it's not quite ready for a full push lap. We're just being able to get that temperature and pressure into the tires on the out lap, rather than having a full push. Yeah, it'll be interesting here. So it will be. So, yeah, at the moment we're just waiting for the server to switch over for our second and third races. We'll have, as always, a 5-minute warm-up session before we get going for qualifying. Here we are. Take the opportunity to practice qualifying run. Because I haven't done a one-shot attempt just yet, and now's the perfect time to practice. Hopefully we'll actually go into qualifying here and not a second warm-up session like what we had last week. So yeah, this could be one of the more interesting one-shot qualies of the year. Since the tires very much aren't going to be ready, you can see, you know, we still need another 2 psi in all the tires, another at least 10 degrees for them to be in the optimal window. Now that we're halfway around the lap now, the tyres are just that little bit better. Second half of the lap won't be too bad. It's first half that's really the biggest struggle. Run to the line then. Okay, so we're going to need a bit more fuel than what we put in. Just making sure I didn't cut across someone who was exiting the pits. That's 131.7, which isn't for being coasting down the start-finish straight. Not that bad. But yeah, we are going to need an extra liter of fuel. Just seeing if I could get cheeky there with the fuel. You know, really trying to maximize this one lap, because as we've seen in the first qualifying session, as we've seen in the race laps, a tenth of a second could make a big difference. But we've got 10 seconds here for the warm-up session remaining. A little bit of time for people to complete laps. And then we get going. We'll have a minute before the one-shot qualifying session begins. Evil Mike. Didn't seem like a great lap for Michael. Only 132.0. Also go see if the temperature range is on the higher or lower end of the range that we have for these races. Ambient temperature can be between 11 and 15 degrees Celsius, so 13 degrees is right bang in the middle of that. The track will then be somewhere between 3 and 9 degrees warmer. So currently it's 8 degrees warmer, so it's nearly as warm as it gets. So it can go up to 24 degrees, say, if the ambient is 15 and then it's 9 degrees warmer. But yeah, certainly on the higher end of the scale there. Track could be as cold as 14 degrees if the ambient was down at 11 and it rolled as low as possible. So we had 13 degrees, 21 degrees for the warm-up session. But every session can be slightly different. Some of them are the exact same as others, but it does change between each session. Doesn't fluctuate by a lot. It's not a lot, but small little bits. It can just make a little difference. So it can. 20 seconds before we get going here for the second qualifying session. As a reminder, one last time, it's a one-shot quali. It's gonna be a tricky one. And yeah, we'll have to see how we fare. Not quite out first. As we're all trying to get tire temperature in. Through the final corner then, start pushing for a flying lap. Just realised Alex Martinez didn't have a good opening race and set of sessions. Don't remember seeing him on the leaderboard anywhere. Gotta be careful of the curbs. Especially the inside ones, they can unsettle the car. Just cause you to lose the rear end. $30.2 for Johan at the front. We've got 30.8. Let's see, Alex beats us by half a tenth. Harkonnen, half a tenth slower. So very close there. 10th separating third, fourth, and fifth. Harkonnen's gonna be a tricky one. Michael's still on his lap. He's waited for a little later in the session. Maybe try and take advantage of just the little bit of rubber that will be put down. Two line then for Michael. He goes P6. 31.0. And that is our grid. Charlie Morgan not getting a valid flying lap in. Starting back with Paul Kingsbury, Daryl Cole, and Dana Bullock. 4 drivers missing out on a competitive time. But yeah, Johan storming away with that session. We take P4 again, but this time we've got different drivers around us. Oh, Kanuchi ran out of fuel. 34.4, I mean, let's say it's lost a second. Could have been up in 13th position. Obviously, don't know exactly when they ran out of fuel. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why we did that practice run in warm-up. Just, give us that, right? We need to, it's too tight, especially as you're using more fuel with the weaving, trying to warm the tires up, putting energy into them. Yeah. So it's Harkonnen that's going to be starting in 5th place behind us. Michael directly behind us. I got a good start last race. Alex, Zach Finney, and Johan in front of us in the same order. So top 4 in the same order. But Harkonnen having a good one-shot quali session there compared to their first main qualifying, you could say. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this race develops. Keep going in a similar manner to the first race. There could be a bit more fighting. Yeah, this could go anyway, to be honest. Got the fuel. Our temperature 12 degrees, road temperature only 15. That means tires are less likely to overheat, but we're going to have to work a little bit harder to get them into the temperature window, especially on these opening couple of laps. They're just going to be that little bit more slippery. Lights coming on now then. Alex again on the more cautious side into T1. Michael with that great start's already got past Harkonnen, and it's been a bit messy at T1 further back. A little bit deep into the hairpin, that allows Michael to close up. Gotta be careful not to run back into the back of Alex in front. Harkonnen's not had a great opening lap, down to P7 now. Zach Finney losing the rear end into T1. That promotes us to P3. Into podium position. I do fear that's going to let Johan Delrego run away with the lead. This might allow Alex to run away with second. We just need to focus on having the clean race. Not just in not making any mistakes or having any spins or anything, but even small mistakes. Making sure we don't make mistakes like that Alex has made in front that would allow Michael to close in behind us. He had good pace in the first race. Was actually a little bit quicker than us after we had our spin. Zach Finney's fallen all the way down to P9, 9 seconds off the lead. Is already looking to make a move for P8. Just going to be getting a little distant slipstream here from Alex, which is good. It helps us with a gap to Michael. On the limit of the rear end there, through the final corner. I just clipped the gravel. Costs us 6/10. Yeah, a little mistake like that could be costly, could cost us this podium. A little bit of rear locking there. Bit of understeer there, ran the car in a little too deep. Michael also ran a little bit wide onto the exit curb. Alex has gone for a spin in T1 just like Zach. Recovers it much better. That gives us P2 now. Shows you what a good job Johan is doing. Not only is he running quicker than everyone, he's also running it more consistently. Not making mistakes. Ever so fractionally quicker than Michael last lap. Still 12 minutes to go in this race. 9 laps including this one that we're on. Alex is closing up to Michael behind. Question is, will the two fight it out and cost each other time? Or is it going to be a fairly simple pass with minimum time lost? A little bit of understeer through the first couple of corners this lap. Of course, on one side the tires are wearing, losing grip. On the other, the fuel's burning off, the car's getting lighter, and the track's gripping up. Has a lot of carb. Seems like Johan's slowed down a little bit this lap. Opened up the gap to Michael a little bit this lap. Just the rear again sliding on entry a little bit. Yeah, slowed up for Johan in front. But he's built up that lead that, you know, he isn't punished for it. Gain 2 tenths on Michael last lap. We're going to gain more here as I think Alex is going for the move. Alex will want to get this move done as quickly and cleanly as possible, give him the best chance of chasing us down for second place. Michael might not want to give up so easy though. Bit of a lock on the front right. And Alex has got that move done. Three and a half seconds now to Michael in fourth. Using absolutely all of the track out of turn 2. Oh, that rear just did not stick, trying to turn in for the corner. Luckily it didn't cost us too much. Look at that, getting the move done. Cost Alex a second, cost Michael 2 seconds being overtaken there. Game all of a sudden becoming a little bit of a slideshow temporarily. Seems to have solved itself though, thankfully. Five laps to go. We were half a tenth quicker than Alex last lap, that's good. Just no mistakes. A little bit tentative on the turn in for that open hairpin with the little moment we had last lap. You know, with Alex is going to keep the pressure on. We have to, as much as we can't make a mistake, we also need to keep the pace up. Using all of that curb out of the final corner. Johan putting in fastest laps. Still quicker than Alex last lap around. It's looking good for P2 here. Of course, that does mean we'll be starting right at the back of the grid for race 3, with only Johan behind us and any non-finishers from this second race. they're not included in the reverse grid. There is one person in pit lane that would be included in that. Three laps to go. Apex in there somewhere. Alex was actually quicker than us that last lap, but by less than a tenth. Just a slight brake bias adjustment towards the front. Just to... I don't mind locking the front tire. I don't want to lock a rear. Couple of lap cars up ahead. This is where I'm glad that we've been able to hold on to this 2.5 second lead over Alex. Gives us a little bit of a buffer with these 2 lap cars. That's a little annoying. Thought they were going to go between the hairpin and the left-hander. But we were able to cut back. Only a few attempts lost. Still much better than what we had at Interlagos. One more to go that we'll probably catch on the final lap here. With the reverse grids, next race might only be 13 laps. You know, it's that close on time. Had the run get to the inside of Jack there for the open hairpin. Alex, I think, lost a bit more time with the first back marker last lap. Gap's opened up to 3 seconds, so he should be home and dry with second place. Don't speak too soon though. Johan takes victory in front of us this time. We'll take P2. Calling this park firm out here. Yeah, good race that. We were the ones who made a mistake in race 1, but come race 2, it would be Zach Finney and Alex Romsix in front of us. Zach would recover to P5 in the end. Alex, of course, got back to P3. Oh, that was good. You know, so the second race then, let's see. 20 finishers of the first race here. That means we will be starting 19th. 18 drivers in front of us. It's the first reverse grid race of the season of only 2. We only do this twice this season. Hopefully it's a clean one. Who knows how this is gonna go. 20 minutes to get through the field. I should say, for every position gained, it is only 1 point. There's only a 1 point difference between every position. So, over-aggressiveness, getting involved in an incident and falling back, losing multiple positions is going to lose you multiple points. Compared to the 1 or 2 places it might gain you, and thus 1 or 2 points. There's a lot more to lose in this race than there is to gain. We kind of seen that in our first sprint race at Interlagos. When we had that spin, it's like, yeah, we lost a lot of points that race. You know, when we, if we finished P4 like we did in the sprint race, or in the feature race, I should say, we were fighting for P2. If we got P2 instead of P4, we would have got 2 points. Instead, we lost like 10 points that race. A lot to lose, not a lot to gain. Hopefully, people are sensible. But I'm looking forward to this. This should be good fun. It's not going to be the easiest track for this. But yeah, we'll load into the grid here in about 10 seconds. And then we'll see just exactly where we sit on the grid. Another odd position, so it should be on the inside. No, we're on the outside. Let's see. Yeah, that is Daryl behind us. Apparently says we're in 18th position. Oh no, sorry, we qualified 4th in both of the sorry, that's my bad. It's evens on the right-hand side. We're in an odd position, so we're on the left-hand side this time, starting 19th. Yeah, let's see how this goes. There is a lot of space on the grid. You can see a lot of space between the cars. That's good. That'll hopefully help keep things clean through turn 1. But we know cool tires, it's going to be tricky. Hopefully people are sensible, play it safe. We've got to make sure we do the same. We don't want to be the one person, the one offending driver that causes the mayhem. Lights about to come on now. Here they come for the third and final time this evening at Okayama. Good start from Johan. Two cars spun there. Oh, look at this backup through. Was almost a flat out corner, but everyone's going side by side. You've got inexperienced drivers at the front, and look how much it's backing up here. Oh, there goes one car spinning, and look at that. All the cars that were looking to the outside all have to back up. That's up 13th position. Just playing it safe, being patient and careful. Go see Concertina here at the hairpin. Like that, 2 more cars. You know, me and Johan aren't going for any aggressive moves here. We're just benefiting from everyone else. From all the other incidents. Thought about making a move on Chris. Just felt like it would have been a bit too aggressive. So P11 at the end of lap 1. Going around the outside, Chris here as Kingsbury blocked off the inside. As boxing Michael in there. Make sure he didn't get a run. Kingsbury in very wide. We're going to hang it the long way round. And we'll clear to turn in for the penultimate corner. One car's gone off for the final corner here. That's P8 now. Johan's up in P6. Alex Wood is the next car in front of us to try and pass. See some fighting up ahead. Zach Silver making Johan defend. Look at this run we have on Alex Wood. Down towards T1, that's P7. Closing up to Alex Martinez as well. A little bit wide for Zach Silver in front, but we'll get a good run onto the start-finish straight here. We'll have the slipstream from Martinez. Didn't have enough of a run to make a move though. Got to the inside of Zach Silver here. It's a drag race. He's got a little bit of slipstream though. That's move complete for P6. Next up, Alex Martinez. Benji Beams running wide there in front. See Johan up to second place now. Oh, that's a love understeer. Avoided the gravel this time, thankfully. Zach not close enough to take advantage here. Zach Feeney, 4.5 second lead over Johan. At the front of the field. Martinez with the slipstream on Benji Beams. Ah. That's annoying, just in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's Benji Beams around a second time. That's a great wee fight with Alex. That just the inside of that final left-hander is like, I'm not confident with that one. Let's maybe look at the positions in front of us. And try to go forward. Actually, I have a really good run here on Alex. I say I don't want to fight this. I want to go forward, catch Michael in front, and Zach Silver, Tom Watson. Thing is, we're already into the second half of the race. Time is running out. Johan is absolutely chasing Finney down in for the lead. Finney trying to respond. Look at that, closing up in front. Straight line speed advantage we have on Alex, despite me not even taking the slipstream. Fight for P3. It's pretty much a 5-car fight at this point, as me and Alex are just getting onto the back of it. Zach Silver looking to the inside of Tom Watson. Chasing each other to the inside of the track. I think Zach locked up there. Ran in wide. Lost 2 positions. Oh, look how close it is here. Sensible. 3 wide, probably not advisable through that hairpin. Alex has got 3rd place and he's going to run away with it now. Brake check from Michael through the penultimate corner. All he's done is given Zach the breathing space. To make a move on Tom Watson. Should have the move done on Tom here. Now Michael and Zach fighting over P4. I don't know if Zach had a moment there, but he got into the side of us. Yeah, the outside for that second hairpin, then runs into the back of us on the exit. Little bits of aero damage, not ideal. We either have 2 or 3 laps to go. To try and chase down Michael and grab P4. There will be 2 more laps here. We'd help if I actually turn in for the final corner on time. But wide for Michael in front, getting onto the grass. See how we can break on the outside. I don't think we were too far from that being a decent attempt. Time runs out just after the 2 leaders have crossed the line, so one more flying lap, one more final lap to try and take P4 here. Nearly into the back of Michael there. Ooh. That's a big snap. Yeah, and that's going to end our challenge for P4. Oh, we give it everything there. That's a good fight. That's a really good race. Oh, I am sweating after that one. Oh, that was a very good race. A lot of good battles. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed that so much. Uh, oh, that was such great fun. Uh, we've got 4 cars here in Park for me. uh, what a fun race. I mean, I can't even be annoyed at the moment in front of us that we had to avoid and go into the gravel on the outside T1. I can't even be annoyed at that because it gave us a fantastic race. I mean, maybe we still would have had it. We've caught up to Zach and Tom. I don't think that fight could have been much better, if any. It was such a good fight, and the fight at the end on the final lap with Michael. That's, you know, that's especially the second half of that race. That is exactly what you want from a reverse grid race and why I love them so much. Oh, that was so good. Such good racing. Loved every bit of that. Oh. It's a bit of a shame that we only get to do it one more time before the end of the season. That will be in 2 weeks' time at Jerez, the Spanish track. Next week, we head to Sachsenring in Germany. A very technical track. It's a motorbike track. I mean, both Sachsenring and Jerez are motorbike tracks. Sachsenring definitely more technical, and especially so in the first half. The second half is a bit more open, a lot faster. So it should be very interesting. Tire wear is going to be interesting. The strategy of the feature race returns. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. But I'll be back before then. Tomorrow, we have the next round of the SROL WEC series on LMU. We're heading to Interlagos, a delayed round because of server issues and the initial attempt for Interlagos. We're in the number 19 Genesis, hoping for a clean round. Looks like the weather could be very similar to Spa. Might end up dry this time, though. Might get a little bit wetter than the sort of slightly wet that we've seen throughout the entirety of Spa. I'm looking forward to it. Should be good fun. But yeah. Oh my god. That was so much fun. Yeah. Wow. I don't think that could have been Ember. Yeah. Oh my god. So, until tomorrow, have a good rest of your evening. Hopefully I'll see you on LMU tomorrow. If not, have a good rest of your week, have a good weekend, and good start to your next week for return on Tuesday for the 4th round into the second half of this series. And yeah, thank you for those for good luck wishes. They came good at the end. Yeah, thank you. I'll hopefully see you tomorrow. If not, I'll see you next Tuesday. Till then, take care. Have a good rest of your evening. Bye-bye, everyone. Thanks, Johan. Well done on the 2 victories. I didn't see. Did you get the? I didn't see if you got the final one. There at the end is had my own battle there, but yeah, well done, Johan.